I read 7 books in June, including my most anticipated release of the year, and here are my very brief thoughts on all of them. I started off the month with the second book in the Unselected journals of M.M. Lyon, and I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really think the first 2 should be viewed as one book or published as one book because the first one does nothing on its own, but this one was a lot more charming, though I will say I don't know how invested I am in continuing the series in general. Then I picked up the latest book in the Imperial Redditch trilogy, Radiant Star, and unfortunately I think this is the end of my journey with this series because I just find myself getting progressively less and less interested in each of these kind of spin-off standalones outside of the original trilogy, and this one was kind of a bore for me. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I reread Vicious to prepare for the release of Victorious, and of course I loved it, 5 out of 5 stars. I think what really stood out to me on this read was how fast-paced of a book this is because of the unique kind of countdown style that V.E. Schwab uses for her chapters. I brushed right through this, even though I'd read it 2 times before. Then I did my first ever reread of Vengeful, and this was again 5 stars. I know this one got a much more mixed reception when it came out, so I was a little scared to reread it, but I still really love this. I think Marcella is a fascinating contrast to Victor and Eli, and I just think it continues to build on the things that Vicious does really well. And the natural next book was, of course, Victorious. Tor has blessed me with an arc, and I was very excited to be able to finish the Villains trilogy this month. And I'm not going to talk about it, it's still too far out from release, but all I will say is that it lived up to all of my expectations, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I also picked up The Language of Liars this month, which is a sci-fi novella, and I feel like I was waiting forever for my Libby hold of the audiobook to come in, but it finally did, so I could finally get to it this month, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This is a very neat, punchy, satisfying story that is unapologetically nerdy about linguistics, which I absolutely love as a linguist, so I had a lot of fun with this one, though I wouldn't say it was particularly shocking. It was very satisfying. I closed out the month with an incredibly fun read in order to kind of balance out the devastation I felt at the end of Victorious, and that ended up being The Winged Game by Sophie Kim, which I had a blast with. I absolutely flew through this one. It is a fantasy like sports romance, and I found it so compelling. The Rivals to Lovers was done so well. The found family, I couldn't put this one down. I highly recommend.